Melody, thanks for coming on the Look Back co-created
Mm,
conversations. Usually I do with Mike, but this is nice to have a new face on here. So
Glad to be here.
today we're talking about episode 28, Healing Narratives about Wellspring, Alberta's innovative workshops. We had guest Bobbi Fridfinnson, and it was released in December 2024. Will you tell me what resonated with you in that podcast?
Absolutely. In listening to the whole thing again, really what stood out for me was the gift, the privilege that we have of having such a long-term relationship
Mhm.
with an organization like Wellspring, because that affects things in so many ways. As you heard Bobbi say in that podcast, is that it really helped the whole digital storytelling process to develop, at least, for Mike Lang and for Common Language. And, they started with the traditional model that came from the Story Center in California, the 2-day workshop. And we developed it into, well, all different kinds of formats, sort of an 8-week class, hybrid of online, in person. There's just been many iterations. So it's great when you have an organization that believes in the process.
Mhm.
And so you can develop the process. So that's one thing that really stood out for me. And then the other thing is that with this long term relationship, it really has an impact on the ability to use digital storytelling for its therapeutic benefits and for building community. So, for instance, Bobbi talks a lot about people come to Wellspring, so much for that connection, right? They need a place to belong and a place where people can relate to their experience. Well, when you have a program that goes over 8 weeks, like I really noticed the difference compared to a short workshop, watching that relationship evolve and the connection between people so that by the end, they are bonded forevermore. And that's a really, really key aspect of the program that makes it, I think, so fulfilling for people that do it. The other thing about this long-term relationship, and Bobbi talked about all of the programs that Wellspring offers, and it's really cool to see the intersection between the programs. So, for instance, it works both ways. On one hand, you'll have somebody who maybe took a creative writing program, and oftentimes people say, I didn't think I was creative, right? But they do a program, then they go, oh, maybe I do have something, creative in me. Maybe I can express something. And that gives them the courage to then come and do the digital storytelling program.
Mhm.
And then other times it's the other way around. They do the digital story program and they go, wow, I've kind of broken through a barrier now. Now I want to go take writing and painting and do all these other programs that Wellspring offers. So it really ends up having this cumulative effect. And then you get people who meet each other. Just recently had a program where two women met each other in a painting class, and then they came to the digital story class together. So it's great when you have a place that offers all these programs and people can get to connect on more than one level through various expressive art forms, right? So then you really get that ultimate synergy happening of people connecting in themselves, trusting their own ability to
Mhm.
express and connect. So that is, I think, what is really, really magical about this. And the last thing that kind of ties in with this, Bobbi was talking about different age groups. And again, the intersectionality of that, intergenerational, right? I love intergenerational anything.
Mhm.
And I think there's so much to be gained. And it was interesting in a recent workshop at Wellspring because we had someone in her early 20s and then people that were like late 60s to early 70s. And what was really interesting is the support given to each other. And
Mhm.
so that young person got really validated in that, wow, you're having insights that we're only getting now, right? And then she injected her perspective on their stories and gave them something. And it was really great to see that reciprocity across the generations.
Oh, neat.
And this idea that it can be cross generations, it can also be at different times in the process. um, for building community, sometimes people need it more at the beginning of diagnosis. Some people need it more after, when they think they've gotten through everything, as Bobbi was mentioning. And then even 5 years out or 3 years out, they go, what just happened, right?
Mhm.
and this gives them a chance to process and build community later. So many of them might have gone through the journey essentially isolated, but then later build community around this cancer journey that they've had.
Oh, I love it.
So I just really think that overall, like Wellspring is unique that way, and it really exhibits this idea that if you commit to this process over a long term, there's just so many residual benefits that sometimes you can't even count them all. You know, it's like I say, digital storytelling is the pebble in the pond, and Wellspring definitely is that, because I've seen people who've been involved over the years in many different aspects of Wellspring, but they allow digital storytelling and the expressive arts to really help them to move forward with their journey.
Well, Melody, thank you so much for coming on and chatting about this. I know I just got to watch David's story that was at the Story Slam. Bobbi there in person, so we got to meet, and we'll probably end up talking about that more another time. But I do want to just mention, if this kind of strikes a chord for you, we're talking about episode 28, Healing Narratives, Wellspring's innovative workshops with Bobbi Fridfinnson of Wellspring, Alberta. You can listen through the links in the show notes, and you'll also be able to find the stories and links that she talks about. Thanks, Melody.
Great. Yeah, thank you for having me, Kristy.